The Texas legislature considers thousands of bills every session, and often those debates can get overlooked, even on critical legislation. Now, today we have a special episode to highlight a bill that was actually signed by Governor Abbott in 2021 that is currently making its way through the courts. This is the layout. I'm David Dunware, campaign director for Better Tech for Tomorrow, and today I'm joined by Senator Bryan Hughes. Senator Hughes, thank you so much for joining us in this episode today.
Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Well, as I alluded to, we're discussing a bill that is in fact a law, was signed by Governor Abbott in 2021, and we'll get into it, but the high-level kind of table setting, House Bill 20, viewpoint discrimination prohibition, the idea that social media companies can't discriminate on you or all Texans based on viewpoint. And so I love, Senator Hughes, you've been a champion and a leader on this issue for years now, predating House Bill 20. Can you walk us through what were some of the things that you were seeing that catalyzed your leadership on this specific issue?
David, we were frustrated like probably every American is who has this experience with social media. And we'd hear from our constituents, hey, I put this post up and they blocked me, or I've been put in Facebook jail and I don't know why, and I can't get an answer. And of course, it happens to us as well. One of the ones I'll never forget, back in that session, a pro-life bill that virtually everyone agrees with. Now, the abortion issue is tough and it's controversial. It's really hot these days. But the Born Alive Infant Protection Act, the one that says after a baby has been successfully delivered outside her mother's womb, she should be allowed to live. Not a real controversial position. So the Republican caucus posted a picture of a beautiful baby with the message, Republican women in the Texas Senate support the Born Alive Infant Protection Act. Facebook would not let us boost that ad. Now, we were able to get in touch with them, and they said, yeah, there was a problem with our algorithm. Yeah, we can fix that. Well, that's great. We knew how to get in touch with Facebook. What happens when someone back home who doesn't know who to call, how to find Facebook, they're stuck. They have no recourse. No one knows what the rules are. They appear to be arbitrarily applied. All you know is you posted something you believe in or you care about, and it was blocked.
Yeah.
Over and over again this happens. We knew we had to teach them some manners, and Texas is in a position to do that. So that and experiences like that caused us to take a crack at this. As you know, there's a federal statute, the Communications Decency Act, 1996, and there's a section that gives them tremendous protection. Tech companies get to have it both ways. They can, on the one hand, act as a publisher and determine what goes up and what doesn't go up. They get to make those choices. But then, when you try to hold them accountable as a publisher, they say, "Oh no, we're not the publisher. We're just a neutral format. We're just the pass-through." They get to have it both ways. That's not right. And so, we wanted to find a way to hold them accountable in spite of that federal law, and that's what the bill does. And so we're very excited about it. When we filed the bill, Governor Abbott actually came to my district for a press conference because this was a big enough issue to him and to every Texan. So something had to be done, and Texas is in that unique position as a major state to do something about it.
Well said, and thank you for your leadership on that. And I'd hasten to note that 1996, the 1996, we're in 2024. A lot has changed, a lot has evolved. So it's crucial that we continue to issue spot, especially as it relates to the move fast and break things sector of tech. So you hit on high level the impetus for the bill. The bill also has transparency requirements. Can you walk us through kind of functionally, how does the bill work?
You bet. The bill does three very important things. First of all, it makes a legislative finding that these major tech companies are common carriers. The line we used in this bill is 50 million or more U.S. users. So these are major companies. They have become the new public square. That's where people go to express their views, to express their First Amendment views. And you know what a common carrier is. That's long recognized in American law. That means that my cell phone provider can't cut me off because they don't like my religion. My utility provider can't cut me off because they don't like the way I vote or that I don't vote. They're common carriers. They have been given so much power by the government, they have to treat people fairly. That's what it's about. So it recognizes they are common carriers and must be treated as such. Also, you talked about the transparency. Again, folks don't know what the rules are. I'm a Facebook user, Twitter, YouTube, one of the worst. I don't know what the rules are. Why did I get blocked? Why was that not allowed? So the bill requires them to publish what the rules are, what the mechanism they use to decide what they push and what they block, and gives me a recourse, gives me a way to complain and to get a prompt response. And it also says if I report illegal conduct, illegal content on a social media platform, they have to deal with that and respond to it in 24 hours. Those are the first two pieces. And finally, the third piece, which took some legal work, this bill says if a social media platform, a major social media platform, punishes you because of your free speech, you can sue them in a Texas district court, and if you win, they've got to put you back online, and they have to pay your attorney's fees. That's the heart of the bill, and those three things going together. Plenty of lawyers will handle these cases. If you can't find one, the bill says the Attorney General can represent you, and they are only too happy to represent you against big tech.
Right. Yeah. Well, and to the point of how big these companies are, we're talking multi-trillion-dollar companies.
We are.
So all important points. So thank you for laying that. Now, kind of back to what you said earlier, Facebook jail, not knowing why you're in jail. So for the everyday Texan watching, with this law, how does it improve their life to the folks that you talked to when you're initially running this issue?
So now, with the law in place, when you are blocked by a major social media platform, by YouTube, by Facebook, by X, formerly Twitter, when you are blocked based on exercise of your free speech, you have the right to bring suit against them in Texas state court. They've got to answer, they've got to defend themselves, and you prove that they violated your free speech, they got to pay your attorney's fees, and they got to put you back online. Now, I want to make a point, and you talked about this before. We're talking about viewpoint discrimination. Now, content moderation is another matter. Of course, if material is lewd, lascivious, excessively violent, federal law protects those, and our bill specifically employs the same language used in federal law. So if we're talking about violent content, excessively offensive content, of course they can and should deal with that. But if they're punishing you because of your viewpoint, that's not okay. And in Texas, they're going to be held accountable.
Yeah, great. Well, so we have to address the elephant in the room. We're, of course, talking about the bill that's going to be heard before the Supreme Court in Net Choice v. Paxson. And at this point of the discussion, we like to, kind of address what is opposition saying about, in the case of bills being laid out, or now law being challenged. So one of the arguments that the big tech trade associations are levying is that this is a violation of the First Amendment. Now, you touched on it. I'd love to hear what's your counterpoint, what's your pushback to opposition on this law?
For those big tech oligarchs, those people who have made themselves the gatekeepers, who want to control the debate in America, for them to claim the mantle of the First Amendment is offensive. Now, they're allowed to. That's the First Amendment. That's free speech. Sure. The First Amendment's important here, and that's what this bill's about. It protects the First Amendment right of Texans to exercise, whether they're on the left or the right. Most of the big tech censorship we see is against people on the right, but you've seen Senator Elizabeth Warren has complained about Facebook. When she posts about their market power, about them violating antitrust laws, they block her.
Right.
They are not exactly equal opportunity limiters of speech, but they want to be the gatekeepers. And in America, nobody gets to be the gatekeeper. We believe in free, robust speech. You know this. Not only guaranteed by our First Amendment, a right given to us by our Creator. It's that important. But beyond that, there are many practical benefits to free speech. With free speech, we have a robust discussion. I say what I think. You say what you think. She says what she thinks. And we and the listeners all participate, and we get to the truth. We need free speech to get to the right answer. And when one side is blocked out of the debate, it's wrong. It violates the Constitution. It's morally wrong, and it's also a real problem because we need robust free speech. The law is very clear. Major common carriers like these big tech companies are subject to this kind of law. And again, American courts have been dealing with First Amendment for a couple of hundred years now. They know what the limits are. They know what it means. There's no question but that Facebook, Google, in this case through YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, they are the new public square. That's where people go to exercise their First Amendment rights. And we cannot allow a handful of left-wing San Francisco billionaires to stifle free speech in Texas.
That's right. And I know in your leadership on numerous tech issues or any legislation, it's the idea that it's the Texas values
That's right.
that we need to continue to uphold. So amen to what you're saying. Now, obviously, Supreme Court's going to be hearing this and taking up arguments. But to everyday Texans who understand, who feel firsthand, hey, this is an issue, what can they do to step up into the fight to help you, to help efforts to push back against viewpoint discrimination? What's your message?
Man, that's so important. Exercising the debate matters so much, right? Just showing up. And I'll say this, when we engage on social media, for example, when we engage in free speech, we have the right to do that. We have the right to put our ideas forward. And as we do that, an important thing happens. We have this debate and we get closer to finding the right answer.
Right. Yeah.
If I'm wrong, I want to know it. I need free speech. I need to know what you think. I need to sharpen my ideas. And so as we exercise our free speech, I'll just say this as a practical matter, especially on social media, if we can do it in a way that's thoughtful and winsome, I'll say this, beyond the scope of the bill, there's a temptation for us all on social media to get angry and maybe to get personal. And I'm not talking about against me. Say what you want to about me. I signed up for this. That's fine. And folks do. Just look at my Facebook, and that's okay.
Right.
But as a rule, if we want to be effective, we want to be winsome, we want to win people over to our ideas, if we put our ideas out there in a way that's thoughtful and is not angry and is not hateful, we'll get a lot further in winning the argument.
Very, very well said, Senator. Well, again, thank you so much for your time coming out here, your leadership on so many issues affecting Texans. And to all those watching, for more information and follow-ups on this issue and other tech issues, please visit texaspolicy.com. Thank you.